Today I messed up by accidentally sending a dick pic via a banking mobile deposit. So I, 32M, work in the film industry and usually receive payments via Rapbook or a payroll service and/or ACH. An old-timer client decided to send a check for a job with a celebrity talent interview. I usually don't get checks in the mail and it's been years since I have or had to deposit a check. I can't deposit a check where I live because my old business bank is from my old town and they don't have branches in NYC. So I had no choice but to do a mobile deposit. I didn't know you had to endorse a check via the mobile app that plays later. I submitted my check without an endorsement and it got flagged. I woke up early and being asleep naked. I had to redeposit the check via picture. When taking a picture of the check front and back they have a screen guide to place your check in, but still the borders are translucent. I didn't pay mind to that. So I'm naked redepositing my check and I submit it. I look back at my picture and my morning shriveled and cold decay is rearing its head. The check was rejected. I had to call the branch for a branch manager to physically release the check hold and whomever has the delight of seeing that mobile deposit gets an unwarranted DK pic. I now have to have a conversation about the photos submitted regarding my check. I just hope. I please beg the gods that my picture is not seen and the original submitted photo was the only picture available. Today I messed up exploring my dad's Reddit account. My dad has been exploring Reddit over the last few months but I noticed about a week ago that he gets particularly squirrely when he uses it around other people. This obviously activated my nosy gene and I set out on a mission to find out his username, covertly. He was writing a comment on a post, so I snuck over his shoulder to snap a photo of the post and the part of his comment, and like taking candy from a baby, I found his username. I then spent about 5 minutes debating the ethics of cyberstalking my father. After all, he deserves privacy as much as I do, right? So obviously I decided that I would take just one quick peek, no harm no foul. His account being marked as NSFW should have been my first warning. To keep the story short, and more importantly, to preserve some anonymity, while there were no photos there were many posts about the intimate details of my parents' naughty life, what devices they use, suggestions to other people, things they've tried out, you name it, it's there. To make matters worse, their apparent favorite device is the same one I have been using with my partner. The apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, I guess, so that has been burned into my memory permanently, and NGL not sure I'm going to be able to use it again, and I have no idea how I'm going to explain to my partner why. It's been a few days since this mess up and I am still horrified at my discovery, but I can't tell anyone lest I traumatize them too or get told off for not minding my own business. At least you all know now. Today I messed up by unwittingly swapping my 23F PC bag, containing a shameful secret, with that of a colleague. Here's the background. For the past 2 months I've been working for a copywriting company, which is pretty much a standard office job. Everything's going well, integration into the team has gone well, colleagues are nice etc. Except perhaps one colleague in particular whom I'll call Jane. If I don't have any personal problems with her, she has a tendency to denigrate others behind their backs, to start rumors, to love gossip, in short, not the kind of person I feel close to. And speaking of gossip, there's something about me that I'd like to keep secret at all costs. In fact, it's a big source of anxiety on a daily basis. For about 2 years now, due to a neurological problem, I've been suffering from severe urinary incontinence. Self-esteem is complicated at my age, but after a period of severe depression, I got back on track and found a more or less normal life. The most difficult thing for me is still having to wear protection, basically diapers given the severity of the symptoms, which I really want to hide at all costs. Yesterday, as part of a team building day, we had a short acting class in an empty meeting room, so we'd all left our loose bags at the entrance. Incidentally, we almost all had the same bag in our corporate colors. The day comes to an end. As I'm on the bus heading home, I get a message from Jane. "Hello. Say, I think we must have swapped bags. When I opened mine I found the laptop with your name on it, and other things no one will know about. Don't worry. You know, we can use the bathroom at the office, right? Ha." The things in question were my diapers. I don't know how to take his message, but that touch of humor at the end hurts me. Obviously, it had to be her with whom we mistakenly exchanged bags. I replied in 2 words and I've been terrified ever since that she'd tell everyone. Today I messed up by losing part of the head of my penis to about 6 penis piercings. I am someone who likes to test my pain tolerance and in this case it has been with penis piercings. In 6 months I've gotten just as many piercings. If you're curious, 3 Diode, 1 Ampelang, 1 Apadravya and finally a Prince Albert, Google at your own risk. This story starts with me going on vacation. I live in Scotland, but I'm going to Florida then Malaysia and England before finally taking a bus back up to Scotland. Everything went off without a hitch before the England branch. I decided to get in a hot tub. If you know piercing or even just have common sense you can see where I went wrong. When I woke up on the day post hot tub I noticed my dick was incredibly swollen and not in the morning would way to in a holy fuck my dick is about to eat metal way. Anyway, in a slight panic I called my piercer, who without being able to see what was happening said, "Yeah, you should be fine, just continue with sterile saline." While I was not totally convinced, I was naturally slightly hesitant to go to some random doctor and say my meat's swollen as. So I took his advice and just cancelled my next few days' events. Although unfortunately over the coming days my Woods luck did not turn, instead getting worse. Because I was desperate, I explained my situation to my friend who I was staying with, who told me to go to the hospital, but I am a deeply stupid man who decided to go his local practitioner, who after an extensive and awkward interview prescribed me some fucking antibiotic cream. This reassured me that I would be fine if a doctor said all I would need was some cream. This doctor might have been a more stupid man than me, for not only did the cream do nothing, it persuaded me not to go to the doctor because the cream would work. I gave it 5 days, but after that glorified tube of Miracle Whip did nothing, and at any given point my dick was in more pain than the piercing. I decided to go to the hospital. If you have ever been to a British hospital, you can see where the problems may start, since A&E didn't see "oh no, dick piercing is the biggest problem," ditching me there for 10 hours. By the time I was admitted, my penis was so swollen you could only see the diode piercings, the other 3 gone. Not only was the infection I happened to get so rare antibiotic will have to be made in-house, but the swelling caused had put me in a tricky situation. You see, the order I had the piercings done back to front was diode, Apadravia, Prince Albert and an Ampelang, and what happened was the swelling from the diode and Ampelang had hooked the horseshoe on the Prince Albert onto the Ampelang. Basically I'm fucked. My options were: chop off some of the tip of my dick and have the main source of swelling dealt with so the antibiotic can be made. Wait for it to be made, but risk losing my whole tip. Today I messed up by drinking too much and ruining a potential foursome. When I was with my ex, in our mid-20s, she discovered she was bi, and wanted to try out sex with another woman. I was okay with this, so we found some local groups, back when kick groups were a big thing, of sexually adventurous people, including other couples. A woman in one of those couples, MF, said she'd be interested in exploring with my ex. They did so and had a great time, but the FU came later when this same couple reached back out and asked if we were interested in the 4 of us meeting up for some late-night drinks, with heavy implications there might be a couple swap or foursome happening. Side note, don't go into a situation like this relying on heavy implications like I did. Things happening organically sounds great, but communication about boundaries and intentions is key. My ex and I had never had sex with other people, aside from her recent experiment, so we were both interested in trying it out. On the night in question we had a bit of food, good conversation, and a few drink options. The girls were both drinking wine, the other guy was sipping beer, and for some reason I decided on rum and coke. I was a brand new drinker, never drank in college, and really did not know my limits. I was feeling some nerves, poured them strong, and kept them coming. After a bit the other woman switched up the playlist, pulled my ex up to tipsily dance with her, and started getting a bit handsy. Right about the time she took her top off and my ex started feeling her up in her lacy bra, I started feeling those rum and cokes. Her man said, "Isn't she hot?" And she looked over in my direction expecting an answer, but instead saw me turning green and staring into the middle distance. She stopped dancing and said, "Are you okay?" To which I replied with a dry heave and ran to the bathroom. A fun thing about me is that it's almost impossible for me to puke, so I couldn't purge the ridiculous amount of rum in my stomach. Even though I shoved my hand down my throat repeatedly, all I could do was retch, gag, and dry heave for the next half hour until I crawled, literally crawled, out of the bathroom barely conscious to 3 very concerned and decidedly non-aroused faces in the living room. We ended up sleeping on their floor for a few hours and grabbing the first train home in the morning. My lips and fingernails were still bluish and clammy. Nobody, as far as I know, got laid.